Hello everyone and welcome to another video by Centipede Geek. Today in this video I'm going to talk about the all-new AMC television series by the name of Turn. I'm going to review the pilot episode. Let's talk a little bit about the plot details first. This is a period piece sort of spy drama set in the year of 1778 during the time of the Revolutionary War. It's actually based on a true story from what I understand, and a true story based on the first the first American spy, and it stars actors by the name of Jamie Bell, Seth Numrich, Daniel Henshaw, Bern Gorman, and Kevin McNally. And that's pretty much the main plot. Is this first spy being hired to work for America in order to get intel from the English during the time of the Revolutionary War back in the 1778 during the summer of that year. And that's pretty much what the series is about, except it takes a while for a spy to be hired. They introduce characters, friendships, past turmoils and stuff like that. And then I'd say roughly 45 minutes, maybe a little more than that, roughly that amount of time, then the spy is actually hired. I don't want to say too much, but this episode is pretty much, a confliction of his soul and whether or not he should become a spy. Should he, he's very, a conflicted soul, a conflicted man. Should he become a spy, and work for America, or should he not? And that's kind of what this episode revolves around, and I don't want to say any more because I don't want to spoil the episode too much, though later on I will have spoilers in my review. So that's pretty much the main plot of the all-new AMC television series by the name of Turn for the pilot episode. Overall, my thoughts and opinions and review of this episode, I really enjoyed this episode, throughout the entire episode. The reason I say it, let's talk about some of the key things I liked in this episode. Before I talk about characters and actors I like, let's talk about, the authenticity of the show. This is a period piece based on a true story, and if the show feels very authentic, it feels very real. Everything from the overall mood of the show, everything from the overall feel and pattern, it feels like, it actually sort of puts you in that sort of time era back, during the Revolutionary War, in, the year of 1778, back during the summer of that era. It puts you in there, and you actually feel like you're living in that era with the characters there. Everything from the accents that the characters have, the costumes they're wearing, the way you see the way you see certain characters act. I mean, it just feels very authentic and feels very real, and you really feel like you're there in the period, in that drama. So overall, that's probably, if not, one of my favorite things about it. The overall, another thing I liked is the overall concept, the overall, sort of, spy, the overall, American, trying to, get intel from the English. Kind of an interesting concept. My favorite scene is actually during the last 10 minutes, just so you guys know, major spoilers are coming up. It's the actual scene where we actually find out that our main character by the name of Abe Woodhull, the actor of Jamie Bell that plays him, our main character of Abe was actually set up. It was actually a test to see if he was ready, if he was going to be the American spy ring that they needed him to be. And I love that scene, that sort of, that sort of betrayal that his friend had. I believe his friend's name was I believe that character's name was Benjamin Tallmadge, played by the actor of Seth Numrich, the great character in the show. Later on, I'll talk about some of the characters that I have written down that sort of, caught my eye. But I love that sort of betrayal, not really a betrayal, but, they set him up. They wanted him to be the spy all along, and I thought that was sort of an interesting plot point that I thought was kind of cool. My favorite scene, though, is, right after that scene, it's the shootout sequence towards the end where, he tells them about the safe house that they have out in the middle of the woods, and it's a big shootout scene between the two sides of the Revolutionary War, the English and the American, and I love that, that shootout sequence, the scene, where Benjamin's character throws the axe. Just a great shootout sequence. It's bloody, it's action filled, just some great, windows being blasted out by, bayonet guns, it's, rifles and stuff like that. It's just a cool scene that I thought was just, really enjoyable. And I like the whole concept of he's almost like he's working both sides. He's turned on the English, hence the title of the show. He's turned on the English, so he's an American, spy wing working for the Americans, giving them intel, but just at the end, he had to, he had to pledge loyalty to the English because of the crimes he committed beforehand. So he's working both sides, and overall I think it's a really interesting concept that works to the overall benefit of the show. Some characters that I like in the show, I thought Jamie Bell as the character of Abe Woodhull, he was a pretty, he's not my favorite character. He's the main sort of, titular character that the show, focuses on, but there were actually supporting characters that I liked more than him, and some of those characters was, his friend Benjamin Tallmadge, played by the actor of Seth Numrich. I really, he's the one with the beard, I believe. And overall, I really enjoyed his character. The scenes, the whole betrayal sequence that I talked about just a few seconds ago. I liked his character quite a bit. Another character I like was an actor by the name of Daniel Henshaw, playing the character of Caleb Brewster, and he's sort of, the head, the head of the spy people, and I like his character quite a bit. They used to be friends. You can see this whole sort of group of spies that's going to be built around, these characters. Another character I liked was sort of on the enemy side, I guess you could say, is the actor by the name of Vern Gorman, playing the character of Major Hewlett, and he's the one, that accuses Jamie Bell of the crimes that he's committed, the one that tells him, you're gonna have to pledge loyalty, with the wigs and all that, and the red coats. But overall, I liked his character quite a bit. His accent was interesting. I just thought his overall, physique and the character, just the way he, portrayed his character and delivered his lines overall was just an interesting fashion that I guess sort of attracted me to him, I guess you could say. Another character I like, this guy's probably, if not my favorite character. I like him and then Caleb Brewster's character, but this guy's probably one of my favorites out of the ones I just named, and it's Kevin McNally, who plays the character of Richard Woodhull. He is, Abe Woodhull's father, and he knew that his son lied. He doesn't know that he's a spy yet. He doesn't know the specifics of it, but he knows something's wrong. He knows something's not right with his son. And he's only destined, he wants to, and he's destined, sooner or later to find out why. I like Richard Woodhull's character a lot. It's just an interesting role that I thought really just benefited the overall feel of the series, and overall, those characters I just listed are my favorite. A 1 out of 10 rating for the all-new AMC television series by the name of Turn. I'd probably go ahead and give it a solid 9. Overall, I really enjoyed the first episode, and I'm curious to see where it's going to go in general. I definitely will be putting up weekly reviews of this series. Once again, thanks for watching another video by Centipede Geek. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe to my page below, and I'll see you guys later for more videos by Centipede Geek.